Delicious, nutritious, and fabulously fun.
Is this real life?
Best of all, your comments.
That was real money saver. Thanks, Randall.
So did it work out for you?
Your hotel tip was spot on.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. But don't just sit there. It's an interactive program, honey.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pick your pleasure. Tweet, chat, post, email, even call us on the telly. Whatever works for you. Our topics today: food, drinks, travel, and a whole lot more fun. So let's pop the cork on this thing and get the party started. Give it up now for our fantastic host, the wonderful and talented Mr. Randall White.
I think that's the champagne talking.
And a good fun day morning, everyone. Great to have you listening today as we discuss current trends, as always, in food, beverages, travel, and tourism. We keep it healthy and sustainable here at Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. And we are broadcasting, as always, live from the Eat, Drink, Explore studio in historic downtown San Luis Obispo. And we are very excited to welcome our new radio affiliate just to the north of us, KSCO AM 1080 in the beautiful Central Coast beach town of Santa Cruz. Or just Santa Cruz. Now our Eat, Drink, Explore weekend radio show can be heard throughout the Silicon Valley region and in Santa Cruz, Monterey, San Benito, and San Luis Obispo counties, plus the northern half of Santa Barbara County. So no matter where you are, of course, you can catch Eat, Drink, Explore Radio live on your Apple or Android device with our handy and free app. And always, segments you may have missed are uploaded within just hours of the program. All right, straight ahead on today's show, let's get to that. The skinny. We'll speak with the author of a new study regarding the health benefits of dark chocolate and red wine. What do you think, Patty Pyburn?
Can't wait to hear it. It makes me feel better about eating and drinking.
It does, doesn't it? Also, women in the heavily male-dominated world of craft brewing will have a discussion with the president of, I love the name of this group, Barley's Angels.
That's awesome.
Right. And that group's upcoming farm to bottle event. Our travel deals segment this week focuses on getting a great last-minute bargain. We all can use those. And then next hour, our compass word is peak, which leads us to some top-notch restaurants, a prime spot for watching the current Perseid meteor shower, and some tasty micro-roasted coffee. Also, in a moment, we'll be speaking with the beer goddess herself, Lisa Morrison, on proper stemware. You never want to be caught putting the wrong beer in the wrong glass. All right. Or the right beer in the wrong glass. This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore.
There's no such thing as the wrong beer,
right.
Randall.
That's why I corrected myself. That's why I corrected myself. All right, this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by our friends at Eberly Winery in Paso Robles, open daily from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. You know, they were voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast. Eberly Winery, located on 46 East in Paso Robles. Log on to eberlywinery.com. Okay, it is time now for us to hear from the critics. The moment in the show when we get insight from those experts around the globe whose specialty it is to know about fine wine, craft beer, restaurants, hotels, among other things. And this week, we turn the segment over to the beer goddess. I always love that name. Lisa Morrison, whose popular weekly radio program, Beer O'Clock, can be heard throughout much of the state of Oregon. Welcome back to the program, Lisa.
Hey, Randall, how's it going?
Fantastic, and it's good to talk. We haven't spoken with you since the spring, I think it was.
I know. It's great to be back on.
So later this hour, we'll be discussing the Farm to Bottle event outside Salem, Oregon in a couple of weeks, and you will be featured speaker there, and we'll be chatting about proper beer glassware.
Indeed.
And so most people just think of a pint glass, but even those vary.
Well, and true. And, much like we have really embraced different wine in different glasses, So really, honestly, much like that, there is a perfect glass for every beer as well. And I think we're kind of beginning to move in that direction, but we just need to kind of focus on it a little bit more. And it really does make a difference in how the beer tastes and smells.
Now, I know just from being a server at a brew pub for many years that when we were serving a Weiss or a Doppelweissen or something, we would serve it in the taller glass that comes down skinny at the bottom, like a 22-ounce glass. And I was told anyway by the brewmaster at the time there that it was so that you could take the piece of lemon and throw it into the glass and it would stick and hold in the bottom. Is that the reason?
I hadn't actually ever heard that. That's it's kind of true actually. So that does kind of work. A lot of the reason why it came about that way, and we're talking about the ones that kind of look like a vase, right?
Yes.
Kind of bigger at the top. So what that does is this kind of harkens back to Bavaria, where wheat beers originated, and they're meant to be served with the residual yeast that comes in every bottle. So these really tall glasses are actually by design larger than the amount of beer that you're pouring, so that you can take that bottle and just really dump it into the glass. Make sure to get all that yeast in there, so you've got all that tasty goodness.
I love it.
And then it also gives you a nice big head as well.
Yeah,
So,
and that yeast gives it such a nutty flavor. It's delicious. I always try to buy the unfiltered versions of things if I can.
oh yeah, well you get all that, and it's packed with vitamins too, so it's good for you.
Now, let's talk about the tulip glass. Every single glass of beer I have is a tulip glass because I've got my tulips against it.
Very nice.
I need a rim shot here. But what is it? What is a tulip glass?
Well, a tulip glass, it's sexy and curvy. It looks a lot like a tulip. It's got a nice bulbous bottom, and then it kind of flares up at the top.
Okay.
And what that really does, that was actually designed in Belgium for Belgian beers originally. So it really helps, that little opening that kind of flares out helps spread the beer as you're drinking it over your entire mouth, and just spreads it right over the palate, so that you automatically just get everything right there, and you're tasting everything on that beer. And the flared opening also allows the beer to kind of bypass that frothy Belgian head, because their heads are usually so thick and meringuey.
Right.
And so this actually lets the beer kind of flow into the mouth a little more easily. And then the bulbous bowl and narrowing center allow for collection and retention of aroma.
I like that, just like a nice wine glass might do.
Exactly.
And on that topic, the goblet glass. Now, how is that shaped? And I would imagine this is for higher percentage alcohol beers?
Well, it is. And, think of it as like a chalice. So it's a nice big bowl basically on a stem. And originally, again, that was from Belgium, and it's kind of been traditionally for their Abbey and Trappist beers. And that large surface on that shallow bowl easily releases the beer's aroma and dissipates that high carbonation of many Belgian beers, so that you don't get so full when you drink it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And it also allows you to hold on to the glass at the bottom. If you wanted to do it that way, you have the choice to hold it by a stem or by the bottom. And if you have a higher alcohol beer that's very complex, you can hold it by the bottom then and let your hand warm the beer, and it will help you get all those different nuances that happen as the beer warms up as you're drinking.
And this would be the glass you would walk around your house in a robe, carrying it with or without
side.
with or without your crown. So we have about 30 seconds for you to describe the Pilsner flute, which I don't use very often because I rarely order Pilsners, but they're appropriate on hot days.
They are indeed. Well, I got to tell you, these were the first beers that were light colored and clear. So these glasses are very long flutes. They look like champagne flutes, and they designed them so that they really enhance that color and that clarity, and they allow those bubbles to travel all the way up, which makes it look really pretty as well.
I love it. In 5 seconds, do you have a favorite wine or beer glass maker?
I really like what Spiegelau been doing here lately. They're awesome. And the Offero is a really great one as well. It helps you actually capture all of those aromas. You can look them both up online.
All right, Lisa Morrison, the Beer Goddess, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Catch her website, beergoddess.com. Up next, our Get Fit segment, dark chocolate and red wine, why it's good for you. Back in a moment.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
You'll never see another show like Confessions of a Love Junkie. Poignant, hilarious, moving, thrilling. It's a roller coaster ride for all the senses. A cast of characters you'll fall in love with, dances of every genre, side-splitting comedy, and moments of sheer beauty. A therapist trying to work through her own love-related issues while working with 4 clients. The good girl ready to go bad. The player who's also a mama's boy, the couple grappling with marriage issues, and the fresh out of the closet guy with an identity crisis. This show tickles the funny bone, captivates the mind, and takes you on a journey you'll never forget. 3 shows only at the Performing Arts Center in San Luis Obispo, Friday, August 17th at 7 p.m., Saturday, August 18th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. For tickets, call 805-756-ARTS. That's 805-756-2787. Come on down to the beautiful Central Coast and see the show you'll talk about for weeks. Confessions of a Love Junkie. Some mature content suggested for ages 16 and over.
Take a moment and see if you can guess what I'm doing. I'm getting healthy by walking. Walking daily has tons of health benefits, managing weight, lowering cholesterol and blood pressure, and improving your overall mood. So, whether it's around your neighborhood or over your lunch break, just take a walk. For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. The Will Rogers Institute, since 1936.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Welcome back, everyone, to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show on this beautiful, beautiful weekend morning. It is nice and clear, and boy, we've had some warm weather in California, and it's that very typical time of year when the weather at the coast can be very comfortable and the weather inland can be very, very hot, right, Patty Pyburn?
I just like to say uncomfortable.
Yes, right, exactly. Those microclimates you get only here in California. So, hey, this is our Get Fit segment, and it's a chance for Patty and me to chat a bit about some of the current headlines regarding nutrition and fitness. Now, earlier this summer, a research paper was published by the University of Florida regarding the health benefits of resveratrol, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
My brain always wants to see it as reserve, but it is not reserve.
No, resveratrol. Well, we can find out in just a moment.
Yeah,
it's a substance,
from an expert.
Yes, it's a substance found in high concentrations in both dark chocolate and red wines, and certain red wines more than others. So we'll find out about that as well. The author of that study, Dr. Heather Hassenblas, joins us now to discuss the findings and what they could mean for you and your diet. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hassenblas.
Thank you for having me.
Well, fantastic. Are we saying resveratrol correctly?
You know what you are. It is a bit of a mouthful, but resveratrol, that's correct how you say it.
Okay, good. Because I wrote a pronouncer right in front of me, and I didn't want to have to change it.
And, earlier the beer goddess was saying there are vitamins in beer vitamins. I love that. And it's so great to hear that there's also something great for us in wine.
I know. How fantastic is that?
And chocolate.
So now, if I understand your study correctly, and this study you did in combination, it's the University of Florida, but also 2 other schools, correct?
That's correct. I had 2 other co-authors, one from University of Marywood, James Moglia, and also Joe Bauer, who is at University of Pennsylvania. And we worked together on this resveratrol review to try to get a handle on what the health benefits are of resveratrol in humans.
And it's been touted quite a lot as being something that prolongs your life, but your study basically says it may not prolong your life, but it'll make your later years a lot more comfortable. Do I have that right?
You know what? That's right. We talk a lot about resveratrol, and it's found, within our diet, probably the highest source is in red wine, which for red wine drinkers makes them quite happy to know that there's something really healthy about the red wine, and that's the resveratrol. And for a while it's been saying that, it's a longevity factor. It's going to make you live longer. And there's the potential for that, but I think more important, the resveratrol, if you take it in a high enough dose, what the science is showing us is it's going to help you live a healthier life with a whole host of health benefits.
I love that. And
it makes me happy while I'm drinking the wine and eating the chocolate, too.
I imagine, Patty, we always talk about this. Everything has to be in moderation. Did your study point to that?
You know what, obviously, definitely. For women, a glass of red wine a day, potentially men too. And so people will come to me and say, well, how much resveratrol do I really need? And within a glass of wine, you're right, there's more resveratrol within a glass of red wine. Certain types of red wine contain more resveratrol than organic. Wine would have more because resveratrol grows naturally on the grape. A Pinot Noir, for example, or a Muscadine grape tends to contain higher doses of the resveratrol. So for people to get the amount of resveratrol that we see in a lot of these clinical studies, they will often turn to a supplement form of resveratrol where you can get a much higher dose without kind of the negative effects and the calories associated with drinking red wine.
So 1 glass is good, but you're not necessarily recommending a bottle to get more resveratrol that way?
You know what? I never would recommend that. I say, enjoy your 1 glass of red wine and know that it's got some resveratrol in it. That's really good for you. But if you really want to get that true, benefit of the resveratrol, I recommend people taking it as a supplement form.
So in a supplement form, are you talking about something we'd get at the health food store, or are there other foods, other berries, perhaps other ways that we can get it into our diet?
There are other ways besides supplement. In supplement, you're going to get it in the highest dosage. But, you can get resveratrol in other food sources like blueberries, chocolate, peanuts, for example. But it's going to be in a much smaller dosage, and you would really need to eat a lot of it to get that resveratrol. Now, or the amount that you'd need for those health benefits.
We're speaking with Dr. Heather Hassenblas with the University of Florida. She was the lead author of a study on resveratrol, specifically that found in high concentrations in both dark chocolate and red wines. And Dr. Hassenblas, I eat dark chocolate every day, and I buy this version you can get at Trader Joe's at the checkout line. And it's 85% cacao. In fact, I have a box of it right here at my desk. So if you're buying it in that high of concentration, then does it give you sort of the same amount you might get in a glass of organic Pinot?
Oh, you know what? They're both are going to have resveratrol, but really when you're talking about the cocoa and, the dark chocolate, when you say it says, let's say 70% cocoa or 80 or even 90%, what is the main health benefit that you're getting from that is a flavonoid that's called flavanols. It's present within the cocoa. Now, people say, oh, this is great. Now I can eat a whole bunch of chocolate. Well, you'd have to eat a lot of chocolate. And, you're also going to get some of the added, calories associated with it, the sugar and the fat. So, a square or 2 of that dark chocolate that contains that high percentage of cocoa is good. And there's also new delivery systems that you can get the health benefits of the chocolate and the cocoa without all those added, calories and sugars, which can come in like a Cocoa Well supplement form as well.
Oh.
Okay, so another supplement where we can get, and you're talking, did I get it right, flavanols?
Flavanols, right.
So resveratrol and flavanol both end in OL. Are they related somehow?
You know what? They are related. They're a class of what's called polyphenols. And research is continually beginning to find, that there are thousands of different types of polyphenols that we get within plants, and certain plants have different types of polyphenols. But research is beginning to show that different polyphenols tend to have different types of health benefits for us when taken in a large enough dose.
Okay. Huh.
I know. It's like, who knew?
Part of this kind of bums me out just a little bit because I'm not a supplement person, and I've
I was thinking that, Randall, when she was saying supplements, I'm like, oh goodness,
here goes Randall.
Here goes.
Years ago, I had a number of nutrition professors at Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, who really tried to pound it into us that you can get all the nutrients you need if you just have a very well balanced diet, and that
variety and all of that.
That you just essentially have a really expensive urine if you take too many supplements because your body can't even process it all. But how would you react to that?
That is a good point, and there is some fact to that. And we should be trying to get as much as we possibly can from our diet and eating as healthy as possible. However, unfortunately, most of us don't necessarily eat that way. And when you're looking to supplement, and that's what you're doing, you're supplementing your diet, and it's not to replace anything that you should be eating, but to kind of help out. And there are certain supplements that are much better than others that your body can process a little bit better if you're looking for organic and all natural. So just like anything, there are things that are okay, within the supplement line, and things that are, supplements that are really good. And you want to look for those higher quality, potentially organic, all natural types of supplements that are actually clinically tested on humans.
This is just the beginning for your studies there at the University of Florida, correct?
Correct.
You have so you've learned what you wanted to know in this last study, but now you're really going to delve into resveratrol itself?
Well, focused, on resveratrol, trying to get some studies up and running, really taking a look, within humans who take it for, an extended period of time. What are the exact, health benefits, and kind of branching out also into other types of, all natural, supplements, and see the effects that they have over time.
I'm just so surprised that this, according to the paper that you wrote, it hadn't been more studied in humans. It had been studied a lot in animals.
It is quite amazing. There's been thousands of studies done, on resveratrol, and most of them, studied within animals or, within the lab. And now over the last few years, it's really finally we're beginning to see the clinical trials going on with humans. And one was just published that was a year-long clinical trial showing health effects of resveratrol.
I apologize. I got to stop you there. The music's playing us out. This is a hard break. But author of a study from University of Florida on resveratrol, Dr. Heather Hassenblas, thank you so much for being on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're back up in just a moment.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen, high blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it, don't ignore it, just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. And a very, very good morning to you. Hope your weekend is free of too many chores or tasks and you're able to enjoy yourself a bit. I am your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely and talented Patty Pyburn, as always. Patty, now I am child-free. Patty has two teenagers that have her running around the Central Coast like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, gosh.
Are you duty or duty-free makes it sound like you're at a...
I'm not paying taxes.
You're not paying taxes, right?
Yeah. Well, that's not true.
Are you chore or task free?
And what do we mean by that?
Does Dresden or Quillen have you running around crazy?
Dresden is hoping for a shopping trip, back to school shopping trip later this afternoon.
That's right. It's that time
I
of year.
haven't decided yet if I'm chore free today.
I saw a great post, by the way. If you go to Marin Mommies.
Okay.
And I was raised by a Marin mommy up in the North Bay. If you go to marinmommies, I think it's .com. I'll have to double check it. But it was how to buy eco-friendly lunch containers for your kids because it's that time of year.
Right.
And they've got some really great stuff out there.
Then I need to check that out. That was a struggle for us last year. My son was very offended that I was sending him to school with lunches in paper bags because he thought it was wasteful.
Yeah.
But we couldn't arrive on a, I hate to say it, lunchbox that worked for him. So,
well, that is sort of that's a balancing act.
He used a grocery store reusable shopping bag as a lunchbox. That was his protest.
Did he tie it at the end of a stick and like put it over his shoulder and then walk down the tracks?
That would have only made it more perfect.
He's great. This is the son that drives a Prius to school.
That's the same Prius driving son.
Right, yeah. So we love Quillen. He's right on target, I think.
But you stumped me when you said chore free because I thought, I'm like, well, yeah, in like 3 years when the youngest one goes to college, why do you want to know about that, Randall?
Then you can help me out even more on the
Yeah.
show, okay? So we broadcast live. You don't hear that much anymore, but we're fortunate that the stations that have picked us up are into it. They like having
live
elements on their show. So we're broadcasting live every weekend in our little studio right in the heart of downtown San Luis Obispo. And a big welcome to those of you listening right now on KSCO AM 1080, one of those family-owned stations that still operates like a station, like a old-time radio station. I love it.
Real deal.
Santa Cruz, Monterey, Silicon Valley area is great to have you on board as we expand our radio footprint. Okay, time now to relax for just a moment. If you do have all those chores in your schedule, just sit back, enjoy your coffee, whatever it might be, as we learn about a growing force in the micro brewing movement. Female power, Patty. That's why I've got you.
Girl power.
Joining me during this segment. Years ago, I managed the Lost Coast Brewery Cafe up in Eureka, California. You've heard me mention that, Patty. And at that time, my employers were two of the only women in positions of power in the U.S. beer industry. We're talking owners or brewmasters.
Wow.
But that is slowly changing, and now there are a couple of large groups. At least one is a worldwide group to celebrate women in beer. One known as the Pink Boots Society focuses on women who work in the industry because brewmasters always wear these rubber boots as they walk around the facilities. And another known as, and I just love this name, Barley's Angels, playing on Charlie's Angels.
That is awesome.
Helps educate the female beer consumer. Our next guest, Christine Jump, belongs to both and is the new director of Barley's Angels. Christine, welcome to the program.
Hi, Randall. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you have a big event coming up it's in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, it is.
And it is right outside Salem, Oregon, and it'll be a large gathering of women in beer and taking a look at where it's like farm to bottle, right?
Right. There have been a lot of these farm-to-table feasts in the area where we live, where restaurateurs are showcasing farm fresh fare, and they have these big dinners right at the farm. Well, Rogue Ales grows their own hops and barley, and I thought, well, gosh, that takes it one step farther, all the way to the bottle. And so I've talked with some people at Rogue Ales, and they've agreed to let us have an inaugural event celebrating women in beer at their hop farm. And they sure know how to throw a party, because I've been to some of their parties before and couldn't be more excited about what we've got going on out there.
Well, I love that you said inaugural event. So that means, you plan on having more of these, and B, you understand that it's not called a first annual.
That's a good point.
All right. So, Patty, you are a woman who really enjoys craft beer.
Yes, I am. Thanks for outing me, Randall. No.
This would be the event for you then.
Oh, it sounds so much fun. And, my brother's a beer drinker. Randall was saying, Patty, you'd love this event. And I said, think of how much my brother would love it. Women and beer. Like, what's not to love?
Right. So, do you primarily attract a crowd that works within the beer industry, or are you really spreading a much larger tent?
We really do spread a much larger tent. I aim at and talk with women who don't know beer very well and just want to learn more about it.
Oh, okay. And so now you have a series of scheduled speakers, one of whom was just on our show, the beer goddess herself, Lisa Morrison. Well, we love when she joins us on the show.
She was so fun to listen to.
Yeah, great energy. And the topic she had with us today is the same topic she will share with the attendees, and that is the proper glassware for beer drinking. But you have several others in the lineup as well.
Yes, I do. I've got Terry Ferendorf, and she founded Pink Boots Society. And she's kind of famous for a vacation she took traveling across country, where she stopped in at breweries and guest brewed and shared craft beer. So she's going to talk a little bit about, how to work a craft beer experience into your vacationing, whether it's a craft beer vacation or or just including that experience into your vacation.
My problem is I don't know how to not work craft beer into my vacationing experience. Okay, so and now let's run down the list. Who else do we have?
We've got Julia Hertz, and she is the craft beer director at the Brewers Association. And I'm so excited about hers because she's going to teach share with the women some real hands-on tactical things that we can take home with us and use. We'll have a variety of foods, cheeses, sour things, meats, and taste them with different beers. And she's going to walk us through how to pick up the flavors and how to properly pair beers so it's not a disaster.
Yeah.
And this is all hands-on. I mean, everybody's going to be sampling a myriad of beers and a myriad of fine cheeses and fruits and whatnot with her selections.
Mostly locally produced there?
Yes. In fact, Rogue has their gal out there that runs the hop farm is sourcing as we speak from the local neighborhood farms and as well as the Rogue hop farm.
You know, years ago, I used to anchor the news in Medford, Oregon, on the CBS affiliate there, and I lived in Ashland. And if my memory hasn't deteriorated,
I wonder if it has
too much, I seem to remember there being like a Rogue Ale House right on the creek there in Ashland.
I think you're right. That was a while ago.
Yeah, and I certainly remember. I know Rogue Ales very much, and they're delicious beer. I just can't remember. I think there was one. I think it might have been wiped out by a flood, and then I'm not sure they chose to. I think they moved their operations. But yeah, the Rogue Brewery, they just are one of the stalwarts of the microbrewery movement. So I'm glad to hear that they're behind all this.
Oh boy, some of the best beer in the country, and this thing really grew legs thanks to Rogue. They're such wonderful people. What I envisioned as a simple tasting has grown into a beautiful event with hop tours. They even have a little brewery out there, so the head brewer's going to give us a tour of that, and it's on the river, I'm told. I haven't been out there yet, so this will be my first trip.
Independence, Oregon?
That's right.
Okay. Hop
capital of the world once upon a time.
So I'm wondering, when we're drinking craft beer, we don't always know who's behind it, who's making it. This is a great event, though, to find out and, meet the people. But do you think that women bring a different flavor? Is there a difference in what they're doing in the industry?
In the industry, yes, I think so. I mean, it is said, and I'm not dissing any men, that women have a more developed palate than men. So, maybe women have a more discerning taste for what craft beer has to offer, particularly the complex beers with lots of different flavors coming up in the nose and coming out in the middle and then after the finish when you swallow.
Now, if you are not getting enough beer by the glass and through the pairings and through the lectures and all that sort of thing, you can literally bathe in it as well, because you have a guest, Tammy Taggart, right, who will be speaking on making beer soap.
That's right. She apparently uses Rogue Ales and makes soap and other products. So
beer bath.
She's going to show us how she does that, and I hope that she brings some soap that we can take home with us too.
All right.
And a bomb. And the whole event's going to culminate with the feast, of course. And they're roasting a pig for us and grilling salmon for us.
Oh.
And
we're all drooling.
I know
here.
you had a collective. I don't know how well the microphones picked it up, but you had a collective
in the studio here.
In the studio here, exactly. And so, for people that would be interested in attending this, do they need to be invited? How does it work?
Rogue Ales has tickets for sale on their website at rogue.com. Click the store button. Or you can shoot me an email, Christine@barleysangels.org, and I'll direct you to where to pick up a ticket.
Yeah, barleysangels.org is where you will find the list of speakers and so much more information as well. And I know that you have chapters around the world. I'm sad to see that California is not among them, so we'll have to get one started here because we have some movers and shakers, women in the beer industry for sure. So hey, I just want to thank you so much, Christine, for joining us and talking about this, and I hope your inaugural event goes very, very well.
Well, thanks. I'll have to send you all an invitation for the next event, too.
We'll make it.
Sign us up.
I'll be there in drag. So,
all right.
All right. Thank you, Christine. All right, straight ahead, it's our popular travel deals segment, and this week we welcome Lauren Volchev back to the program. She'll have her top last-minute travel bargain picks for the week. She's always a great guest. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, with Patty Pyburn. We are back in just just a moment.
You'll never see another show like Confessions of a Love Junkie. Poignant, hilarious, moving, thrilling. It's a roller coaster ride for all the senses. Dances of every genre, side-splitting comedy, and moments of sheer beauty. 3 shows only at the Performing Arts Center in San Luis Obispo. Friday, August 17th at 7 p.m. Saturday, August 18th at 2 p.m. and 805-756-2787. Come on down to the beautiful Central Coast and see a show you'll talk about for weeks. Confessions of a Love Junkie. Summer tour content suggested
Hello,
for ages
this is
16 and
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
This is Diane Lane. If you're thinking of exercising to keep more fit, that's great, but be sure to do it right. Give your body a chance to warm up before exercising and to cool down afterwards. Learn the correct way to run, lift, or to do any of the movements in your program. Don't push yourself harder or faster than your body is ready for. Exercising properly can make you more fit, more relaxed, and generally healthier. Carelessness or abuse can do just the opposite. So be careful.
A message from the Will Rogers Institute, wrinstitute.org.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook,
You waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
It is the Travel Deals Extravaganza. I love the way Monica says that. A good day, everyone. I'm your host, Randall White, and it is time to hear insight from the best of the best, the gurus of bargains, the luminaries of budget travel. And this week, we are discussing the best way to handle last-minute purchases. You know, when you decide it's a Saturday, you're sort of kicking around the house, and you're like, let's go somewhere. And then you need to get a hotel room. Well, you know, you can get it really cheap if you know where to look and where the bargains are. And that's where our guest now, Lauren Volchev, the Vice President of Marketing for Travel Holding Inc., also runs a website called lastminutedeals.com. Welcome back to the show, Lauren.
Thanks so much, Randall. Thanks for having me.
So it's not just hotel rooms, it's also cruise lines and several other types of things as well. And it doesn't have to be so last minute as that afternoon, right?
Exactly. We have a lot of really great products, attractions, as you said, cruises, hotels. So there are 2 cruise deals that I could not pass up telling everybody about today.
All right, let's talk about the Carnival Inspiration. I'm inspired to hear this.
Yeah, so this one goes out of LA.
Sorry, that was bad.
You got 4 nights for $359 per person, so that's only $90 a night.
And that's all your food, your lodging, your transportation, all rolled into that $90.
Exactly. So some of the best thing about these 2 cruise deals is it's almost more expensive to stay at home than it is to go on these cruise lines.
Right. And this leaves out of Los Angeles. What is that? San Pedro there. And, okay, so the first stop is Catalina Island. It almost costs that much just to take the ferry over to Catalina and back.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really great deal.
And then you head down to Ensenada, which is one of the safer Mexico destinations. You know, you're far enough inland at that point that you're not a border town, and it's got lots of flavor and fantastic restaurants as well. Mm-hmm. So 4 nights, and then you return back to Los Angeles. So at least one of those days is probably, I'm guessing, the Ensenada back to L.A. is all on board the ship. And those are fun, relaxing days when you're just there on the ship, just eating and sleeping.
Exactly.
So then there's another Carnival, and this one's the Splendor.
Correct. So this one is, I think, an even better deal. It's a little bit longer, so we're looking at 7 nights here at $579 per person, so that's $83 per night.
Wow. And I've taken a similar one for this. It's Cabo, Puerto Vallarta. Now, I noticed that it's just Cabo and Puerto Vallarta. Are they skipping Mazatlan now?
Yeah, exactly. It's just those 2 destinations, so you do have that, again, at sea time to relax, get some sun, just hang out by the pool.
And I was always disappointed the 2 times I took this cruise prior because we spent so little time in Cabo, and I think they heard all the different cruise lines heard a lot of feedback on that. So by removing Mazatlan, I think you get to spend a lot more time there in Cabo, San Lucas, which is great because it's such a beautiful, beautiful destination.
You're exactly right, yep.
Wow, $83 a night. You're right. It's almost more expensive to stay home. All right. So let's talk about some hotels now.
Sure. So I'm kind of highlighting Labor Day, which is coming up, and then also September. So a little bit less last minute, but at the same time, Labor Day is always selling out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
A helpful hint, normally prices in cities are actually going to be the lowest because everybody's trying to get out of the city.
Oh.
If you do get a great resort in the city, enjoy the pool, it's going to be at a great price, but I did manage to find a really great deal in Cabo San Lucas. 5-star hotel, it's 30% off, and it's starting from $103.
Really? And this is at a 5-star hotel. Do you know, is it one of those all-inclusive?
This one is not actually all-inclusive. I do have another 4-star. It seems like right now the prices on the all-inclusives are going to be a little bit higher, and then the ones that aren't are great deals. That 4-star is 25% off, starting from $66 in Cabo San Lucas.
Is the season weird there right now? Like, are we heading into a hurricane season or something? Is that why the prices are so good?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're looking at August, September, for instance, September and late August are going to be lowest in destinations where families or kids would go because everybody's going back to school, and then obviously in destinations affected by weather, whether it's the Caribbean or something like Cabo San Lucas.
Okay, and then you have some hotels in the Vegas area that have a good deal.
Exactly. So we actually have kind of a unique tab on Last Minute Travel. It's a coupon tab, and you actually, through the end of the month, and we refresh it every month, guests to the site can save $20 off of all Las Vegas hotels with any purchase of $300, and then we have a deal, $30 off the Hilton Times Square in New York as well.
I've stayed at that Hilton at Times Square. It's a nice hotel, and you're just right in the heart of everything, and Times Square now is so much cleaner than it was, decades ago, so that's great, depending on how much the bill is. $30 might not even cover taxes, but at any rate, it's $30 you wouldn't have off otherwise. So so that's a good deal. Now, closer to home, down in the beautiful land of Disney, you have some deals in Anaheim and then the other Disney as well over in Orlando.
Yes, like I said, if it's a family-oriented destination, September is a wonderful time to go. Not only are crowds low, lines are short, but the prices are also low as well. So our hotels in Anaheim start at $47. That price,
$47 a night?
Exactly. And that hotel is actually near the Disney area. It's not 5-10 miles away.
Wow, because when you drive up and down 101, a lot of times Motel 6 will have the sign out there that tells you what the price is per night. You don't even see Motel 6 at that rate. So
exactly.
Wow. That is a good deal. In Orlando from $26?
Even cheaper.
Okay, wow. I mean, that $26 a night. That is cheap.
Yes.
Okay, and then finally, national parks and icons. We love national parks. Let's quickly go through those.
Yes, so we partnered with a really interesting product that I think does a wonderful job of featuring national parks and really national icons or iconic cities. I mentioned cruise deals before. This is a kind of different type of cruise. It's an air cruise.
Oh.
So it's called the Moeva Air Cruise, and on the Western Wonder Experience, it leaves LA. You're actually using a private plane through private airports. So again, think no lines, no crowds. And you get to see Monterey, San Francisco, Wine Country, Grand Canyon, Bryce National Park, Zion, and then end in Vegas before returning to Los Angeles. So it's a wonderful, wonderful trip. It is under $2,000 per person.
For all of those destinations?
Not only all those destinations, but breakfast and dinner every day, branded hotels, all the attractions, and a tour guide every day.
All right, that's a lot, and that's awesome.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we don't have time to get to the other ones you have here, but people can find these deals located at lastminutedeals.com, correct?
It's actually lastminutetravel.com.
Last Minute Travel. I'm glad you said that. I need to
No
go
problem.
update the link on our website. We'll have to double check to make sure. Maybe I put it in correctly last night.
Yeah, not a problem. So lastminutetravel.com, and there's actually 15% off the Moeva Air Cruise starting on Monday. So I'm kind of giving all your listeners a sneak preview of that sale.
I love it. Lauren Volchev, Vice President of Marketing for Travel Holdings, Inc. It is lastminutetravel.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Randall. Take care.
Okay, this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch. Dine under the oaks, surrounded by beautiful rolling green hills, located just 3 miles from the 101 on 46 East. That is in Paso Robles. Now, stick around because next hour we are taking you on a wild food, beverage, and travel ride using one word. It's our compass word, and this week it is peak, P-E-A-K. We'll have more on that straight ahead. You're listening to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. And hello, all you Crush listeners out there. Randall White back here again. We want to let you know that coming up in the next hour, we will explore one of the best local places to view the Perseid meteor showers, a Central Coast coffee micro roaster, and some tasty mountaintop restaurants. Lots of great stuff coming up in the next hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. You're listening on this Saturday morning. Make it a great day. We're back in just a moment with the top of the news. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. It's the top of the hour and time once again for the latest from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk.
I'm Patty Piper, and here's what's making news this morning. The U.S. is experiencing the worst drought in more than half a century. The Midwest crop belt is taking a heavy hit, and corn prices are at a record high. Prices skyrocketed more than 60% over the last 7 weeks, and the price per bushel is now $8.28. The U.S. Department of Agriculture analysts are expecting more accurate numbers as we get farther into the harvest season. A famous Bay Area tourist destination is reducing its carbon footprint. After 10 years of trial and error, Alcatraz Island is now solar. More than 1,000 photovoltaic panels are on top of the famed cell house that once held the likes of Al Capone. The project was delayed because it was difficult to find a place to install those panels, but now new, smaller, more efficient panels are available. Another concern was the visibility of the panels to the 1.5 million tourists that visit each year. These new, small panels fit on the cell house out of view of the sightseers. The system is expected to meet about 60% of the island's energy needs, and that will save taxpayers money. Craft beer is now expanding faster than any time since the end of Prohibition. The Brewers Association reports there are now more than 2,000 craft breweries in the U.S., more than there have been since, surprisingly, 1890. This number includes 350 new breweries that have opened just in this last year. Now, in addition to creating the tasty brew, craft beer industry is providing employment opportunities in many states. The Department of Labor reporting the craft beer industry is providing more than 100,000 full-time and part-time jobs, an important contribution to the recovering economy. A fleet of tiny NASA satellites are set to take orbit around the Earth, and these shoebox-sized robotic researchers originated in San Luis Obispo. CubeSats are nano satellites, and they were developed at Cal Poly. They are now being produced all over the country. The satellites are used for a variety of space research, including observing distant star systems and sampling the contents of the upper atmosphere. Their compact size and portability allows them to be sent into space without taking up a lot of cargo space. That makes them more affordable to produce and launch, and a reason that they are popular on NASA missions. A few CubeSats can hitch a ride into space with other payloads, increasing the efficiency of the missions. NASA is seeing this as a future component of space exploration. All right, we are joined now by Nicole Powers with some information about sugary drinks. This is important for parents out there that are available in American public schools.
Yes, thank you, Patty. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation released a study this week that found the availability of soda in public middle and high schools has significantly declined. Despite this progress, however, sugary beverages like fruit and sports drinks still remain. These findings were conducted by looking at schools' competitive beverages. What that is are beverages sold outside of their meal plans, so by way of a vending machine or a snack bar. I spoke with the lead author of the study, and this is what she had to say.
We still had 63% of middle schoolers who could get some type of sugar-sweetened beverage, and almost 90% of high schoolers. Very high percentages, and the majority of that was driven by sports drink availability. The Institute of Medicine has put out some good recommendations for this, and they say, look, bottled water, 100% juices, low-fat milks.
That was Yvonne Terry, Survey Research Associate at the University of Michigan. She is hopeful that the United States Department of Agriculture will use their results as they are currently updating the national standards for competitive foods and beverages in schools. The researchers say while the study shows good results, it also shows that we are not where we need to be.
All right, Nicole, thank you for that update. And taking a look at our weather, showers and thunderstorms lingering in the northeast. Similar situation for the southeast. Florida is expecting showers and thunderstorms. Thunder and lightning may affect the Midwest through much of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky, and some very hot conditions for Phoenix and Las Vegas. In fact, record highs being set there. Also, yeah, is right. Pretty hot in the interior valleys of California. We are feeling the heat on the Central Coast. San Luis Obispo expecting 80s today. So, you know what? That plan of heading to the coast to cool off, well, it's going to be warm there as well. All right, that does it for this edition of Eat, Drink, Explore News. Randall White is up next.
Delicious, nutritious, and fabulously fun.
Is this real life?
Best of all, your comments.
That was real money saver. Thanks, Randall. So did it work out for you?
Your hotel tip was spot on.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. But don't just sit there. It's an interactive program, honey.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pick your pleasure. Tweet, chat, post, email, even call us on the telly. Whatever works for you. Our topics today, food, drinks, travel, and a whole lot more fun. So let's pop the cork on this thing and get the party started. Give it up now for our fantastic host, the wonderful and talented Mr. Randall White.
I think that's the champagne talking.
And a good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us here for the show today. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are coming to you live from historic downtown San Luis Obispo, right in the heart of California, almost like dead center, but to the coast. Each week, as you know, we bring you as much current information as possible so you can enjoy your life, every moment you have in it, in a fun, healthy, and sustainable manner. I said I'm Randall White, but I haven't introduced the lovely, the talented, the wonderful Miss Patty Pyburn. Hello,
don't
Patty.
Stop. More. Good morning.
Keep it coming. Yes. Okay, this hour of the show revolves around something we call a compass word, inspiring us to explore foods, beverages, locations we might not otherwise find. And I'd like to take a moment to encourage you to make compass word suggestions as well. And in the future, you might be listening and like, I sent that word in. So anyway, you can do that through email or social media. Our usernames across the board are Eat, Drink, Explore. So if you're on Twitter, it's twitter.com/Eat, Drink, Explore, Pinterest, Facebook. Is it Pinterest or Pinterest?
Pinterest? Pinterest. I don't know.
Something like that.
We're on it. Explore.
Yeah. It's Eat, Drink, Explore. Everything. In fact, I just re-signed up for MySpace.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, apparently it has a resurgence.
Oh, who knew?
Mainly in the music genre. Justin Timberlake is like behind it or something.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so you're on MySpace, Eat, Drink, Explore.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have anything on there. But I highly recommend you go to our Twitter feed though. That's where the goods are. Yeah, we're well over 2,000 followers now. And so I love our Twitter feed. It's a good one. And then if you just want to use good old-fashioned email, it is radio, which is easy to remember, at eatdrinkexplore.com. Okay, so now this week's word is peak, and it's P-E-A-K, like a mountaintop. And
not peak like peekaboo.
Right.
Okay.
Which is related to picket.
Oh, that was last...
Yeah, and I didn't think about this until later. Picket was a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Last week was cat.
Okay, right.
But like picket, the root of that is pick, which is P-I-C, and then in German that's peak, and then like in Spanish it's pico, which can mean the beak of a chicken or all that. So at any rate, peak is our word, and based on that one word, we will be taking you to one of the best local places for viewing the current Perseid meteor showers, which, let's see, Saturday night into Sunday morning, Sunday night into Monday morning are at their absolute peak. So, yeah, that's not the relation to the word, but at any rate, we will tell you where to go to watch them, and it's within driving distance of wherever you might be if you're listening over the radio right now. Also, we'll get a lesson in Coffee 101 from a Central Coast micro roaster who will be in studio.
Oh.
You know, like, where do you keep yours on the counter? You do whole beans?
I do.
And you keep them on the counter? Or?
I used to keep them in the freezer.
I think a lot of people did. Is that the right way to do it?
I feel like someone told me it wasn't because it dries them out. I don't know. They're in the cabinet now.
Yeah, we're going to answer all that.
We'll find out.
Plus organic versus, fair trade and all that. And now there's even something direct trade, I think it's called, or there's several versions of that. So we're
going to learn more.
That's right. It's Coffee 101. And our picks for some of the best mountaintop restaurants. Plus, Patty and I are going to put each other's knowledge to the test when it comes to some famous peaks out there. But before we get to any of that, we should let you know that this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch Golf Course. It sits on a peak, as a matter of fact, overlooking the beautiful Paso Robles area. Best kept restaurant secret on the Central Coast, open 7 days a week for breakfast and lunch, happy hour from 3 to 6, and then dinner Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So passing through the Paso Robles area, make sure you make a stop at Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch Golf Course, located on 46 East. That's past Airport Road in Paso Robles. Okay, now, at 9:11, because our compass word this week is peak, we thought it'd be fun to test each other on our knowledge of famous peaks around the world. So I've come up with some questions. Patty's come up with some questions. We'll get through as many as we can with the remaining time here and then pick it up again on the other side of the commercial break. But you want to go first, Patty?
Okay.
Okay, so fire away.
You're feeling a little brave.
I am. I've had my coffee this morning and switched to water, but let's hear it.
All right. Do you know the origin of the term widow's peak?
Of the term widow's
peak. We know what it means.
Yeah.
The point of hair on the forehead that some people have on their hairline.
Where it kind of sort of makes it look like a V, and it's a trait that
it's an anomaly.
Want, right? It's an anomaly, really, a genetic anomaly.
That's what they say.
A widow's peak. I don't. What is the origin of that?
It's easy. A widow's peak. It was a cap worn back in like the 1500s by widows, and I think they may have had to wear it for like a year, and it came down into a point, and there's actually a picture of probably a painting, I should say.
Yeah, right.
of Mary Stuart wearing one. And so this was a sign of mourning.
Right.
And the wives' tale perhaps is that if you have that, then if you're a woman, you're
off the
heading
market
for widowhood. Like in your future, you will obviously in your future at some point, a lot of women would become widows, but that you're more apt to be an early widow if you have that. That was the wives' tale. So there you go.
Yeah, interesting.
Good job
if you
that.
Naturally had it, not if you were you wouldn't wear the hat if you or the cap. Okay, so all right, now it's my turn, Patty. Which mountain? Because all mine are based on mountain peaks. Which mountain found right here in California is the tallest peak in the lower 48 states? It's 14,505 feet.
Something peak? Am I close?
Well, it is a peak, that's for sure. It's Mount Whitney, and it's in the Sierra Nevada, and it is in the southern portion of the Sierra Nevada. Right outside Independence, I think. If you're in the town of Independence, California, not Independence, Oregon, like we had last hour. But yeah, it's Mount Whitney, 14,505 feet. So a lot of people always think that's the tallest peak is in Colorado, but it's not. It's in California.
I, would have probably thought Colorado too.
Right. Okay, fire away.
Okay, so I'm going to go with a rock formation as well.
Okay.
But this one is in northwest New Mexico. It is the largest of 50 volcanic necks or volcanic plugs. What do you think it's called?
This is in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
And it's the largest of those volcanic plugs.
Mm-hmm. And don't we have a couple around here? Are the
whole
sisters?
Yeah,
are they...
from Morro Rock into San Luis Obispo's Madonna.
Those are plugs, right?
Right.
Okay. This is in New Mexico.
I don't know.
I'm surprised that you don't.
Right.
Cabazon Peak.
Cabazon Peak.
And that is Big Head. giant head for the story is a slain giant.
Ew.
His blood was the volcanic flow.
All right. Well, the questions continue when we return in just a moment. Then we're talking coffee at 9:30. Your Coffee 101. You probably have a cup right in front of you. Is it the best it could be? We'll find out straight ahead on this edition of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying Awareness Week starts November 16th. Details at bullyingawarenessweek.org.
Would it be crazy if you just stopped everything, packed your bags and left? For a week, a month, a year. What if you left for 2 years? Would people think you'd lost your mind? What if you were going far away to help in a village on the edge of the Gobi Desert? A village crowded with Buddhist temples, not skyscrapers. A place where there isn't a word for recluse, but 1,000 words for community. Would it be crazy to go 5,000 miles from home? To spend time with people the rest of the world only reads about? To build libraries and fill them with stories? Prepare a meal with food you helped grow? To teach children and learn a thing or two about yourself? Would that be crazy? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, And a good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the program. 9:19 now the time. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn. We are testing each other's knowledge of the word peak with a few trivia questions that we've both designed. And that is our compass word for this hour. We will next segment be speaking with the man behind Coastal Peaks Roasters. Sorry. And talking about Coffee 101, how to make your coffee the best it can possibly be. And of course, being a morning show, that fits in very well. And then later, we'll be talking about a place here on the Central Coast where you can go to watch the ongoing Perseid meteor showers. And it is a fantastic spot I had never heard of before, so I'm excited to learn a bit more about that. But right now, I bring Patty back into the mix here. And I think it was my turn, Patty, to ask you a question regarding peaks. And okay, so my last one was the tallest mountain, which is Mount Whitney in California. This one at 20,320 feet is the tallest peak in the U.S. all over. It doesn't matter which state, not just the lower 48, but this is in Alaska. It's the tallest one. What's its name?
The name of the tallest peak? And it's in Alaska?
It's in Alaska. Has two names, actually.
As soon as you say the name, I'm going to remember it. But
okay, I'll let you know. It's Mount McKinley.
Oh, of course.
Or Denali. Denali it's the same mountain.
Okay. Because I say McKinley, yes.
Yeah, Mount McKinley. Denali was its prior name, and it's called Denali National Park. So
okay.
Right. So Mount McKinley. So it's your turn, Patty. Throw one my way. I'm ready.
Is this too easy? This was not one of my planned questions, but
okay.
If you eat at the steakhouse, they cut off your tie. Do you know what the name of it is?
No, if you eat at this steakhouse, they cut off. If you come in with a tie, they'll just cut it off.
Use it as decoration in the restaurant. Yes, thousands of ties have been cut off.
I love that. But I don't know what it is. Where is that?
Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse.
Pinnacle Peak. Well, that is interesting that you bring up Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse.
Because when you said that, I was just thinking, I remember my grandparents taking me there. And
yes. Okay, that's interesting. Well, one of our Twitter followers, let's see, Duncan Paisley.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I threw on our Twitter feed, I said, hey, who has a favorite restaurant that sits on a mountaintop, like a peak place? Throw it my way. And Duncan said Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse in Arizona.
Yeah.
And then our good friend Matt Brown in the Paso Robles area said, this is a California only show, Duncan.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it local. And then I said, no, we don't discriminate.
They have them in California too, I think.
Oh, do they?
I think they have a couple of restaurants. I don't know about the tie cutting thing, but I just remember that my grandparents taking me in the big fun. They cut off everyone's tie if you cut. They don't want anyone dressed up.
Well, we will get to more mountaintop restaurants that are of interest. According to Sunset Magazine, some of the top mountaintop restaurants. Okay, now in German, Patty, the words peak and meadow combine to give this mountain its name, which also happens to be the inspiration for a famous amusement park ride.
Oh.
In German, the words peak and meadow.
We need like a ticking clock.
I know. Tick, 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 tick. The Matterhorn.
Matterhorn. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I was gonna say Thunder Mountain.
Okay. Do you have another? Yeah, not Thunder Mountain. Do you have another one?
I can have another one.
Okay, if you have one.
Where's the highest cog railway? Everyone knows
the highest cog railway. I'll say Pikes Peak.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might actually get this one.
Pikes Peak, Colorado. I got one. We need a bell. We're gonna have to. Yes. We'll jazz this up in the future.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever done this. Okay, the world's largest observatory for optical, infrared, and sub-millimeter astronomy, which by the way was a top spot to witness the recent transit of Venus. Remember that we just had recently? Okay, so if you tuned into NASA or anything,
I would be pushing it right now.
You would have been here. It is housed on top of this U.S. peak. Do you know what it is?
Kit Peak?
No.
I thought it was Kit's Peak Observatory.
No, and she's so ready to hit the Jeopardy button.
I would be out.
Yes. Sorry, Patty. No, it's Mauna Kea in Hawaii.
Oh, I never would have got that. I thought it was this obvious Kit's Peak. Okay, fine.
Yeah, sorry.
Fine.
Not so obvious after all.
Hey.
Yes. Okay.
One last one.
Yes. And I have one last one as well.
Who invented the movie poster? If that's not an obscure question, I don't know what is.
The movie poster. So, like, so when you're standing out in front of a movie theater, you see all those posters that say what's now, now playing or coming soon. No clue.
You could have said Mr. Peak.
Mr. Peak, yeah. Well, it could have been Mrs. Peak.
It could have been Mrs. Peak. You're right, to be fair.
But they've been around a while. So
Bob Peak.
Bob
born in Denver, Colorado in the 1920s. And I think the first one that he designed was West Side Story. And then it just started a new thing with movie posters, and he's done a lot of famous ones.
That's interesting.
Star Trek, Superman,
I like
Excalibur.
that.
There you go.
Okay, so the Los Padres National Forest stretches hundreds of miles along California's central coast, and its tallest peak is named Mount Pinos, which happens to be in Ventura County.
Okay.
Or Ventura, depending on whether you're left-handed or not. Does this mountain nearly top out at 4,000, 7,000, or 9,000 feet? So I'm giving you like an ABC.
Okay.
Okay, so Mount Pinos, the tallest mountain in all of the Los Padres National Forest, does it top out at 4,000, nearly 4,000, 7,000, or 9,000 feet?
I'll say 7.
Anyone else in the
Any
studio
other
here?
guessers?
Anyone? No, we're getting a lot of head shaking. It's like 8,847 or something. It's nearly 9,000 feet. I mean, that's tall for a coastal range. That's
I didn't think that would be that tall.
That's really impressive. That's why when we have those extreme cold snaps and you drive down to LA on 101,
You'll
see
see
snow-covered
snow up
mountains.
there.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
every single time. Okay, so a while back, Sunset Magazine put out a list of the top 10 mountaintop restaurants. I hope it's not so long ago that some of these are closed. But I updated the list a little bit because there's a place that I thought they should have included and they did not. But at any rate, there are some California locations listed here. One at Mammoth Mountain. It's called Parallax, and you actually take the snowcat to it. It's been retrofitted with plush seats. It's a mid-mountain restaurant, and apparently for entrees, you can get some venison loin chop, macadamia-crusted halibut. I always like that when you do that with the fish. Under the price category, it has 4 of those dollar signs, so I'm guessing it's not cheap.
Yes, probably not.
Okay, so here's the replacement that I did. They chose in Carmel Highlands, and Patty, you used to live right around that area.
Yes.
They chose a place called Pacific's Edge, which is not on top of a mountain, but then they gave like a little disclaimer. They said, okay, it's not that high up, but you do get the feeling of vertigo because you're right on this cliff, essentially. Yeah, with the Pacific crashing against the rocks.
I've never eaten there, but it sounds awesome.
It has the $4 signs as well.
Ooh, okay. Something to keep in mind.
Right. And I know this next one does too. And I would have, as an editor at Sunset, replaced Carmel Highlands, nothing against Carmel Highlands, but for a true mountain peak restaurant, which is at the Post Ranch Inn, which is in Big Sur.
Oh, yeah.
And all you have to do is go to their website, postranchin.com. And because the view is so unbelievable, the website really highlights that. And it is just glass floor to ceiling.
Wow.
And you are... You just have to check it out to see what I'm talking about. It is so...
I love Big Sur.
Amazing.
So pretty.
Yeah. The Mountain Home Inn in Mill Valley is a great place to go also, that looks over Marin County. You can see downtown San Francisco. It's way off in the distance, and it's just a gorgeous place to go. I love restaurants with views, whether they're on top of mountains or on top of
buildings. It makes
buildings.
the food taste better.
Yeah. Well, I wish it would. There is this sort of equation: the better the view, the worse the food sometimes.
I know.
But
the view can really help that along, though. It can make you feel a lot better.
No, it's true. It's the ambiance, right? And I love the ambiance of a nice coffee house. We'll be talking coffee coming up in just a moment here. Good questions, Patty. You'll have an entire week to do next week's version, and we'll have
wait.
We'll have some good sound effects to go along with it. Okay, yes, we are talking coffee. Coffee 101 with the man behind. He said he'd never been called a founder before, but he's the founder of Coastal Peaks Roast. I always get the last part. Roasters. Yes. There we go. We are back in just a moment. Hope your morning's off to a good start. Go grab a cup of coffee so you can be prepared for this next segment.
You'll never see another show like Confessions of a Love Junkie. Poignant, hilarious, moving, thrilling. It's a roller coaster ride for all the senses. A cast of characters you'll fall in love with, dances of every genre, side-splitting comedy, and moments of sheer beauty. A therapist trying to work through her own love-related issues while working with 4 clients. The good girl ready to go bad. The player who's also a mama's boy, the couple grappling with marriage issues, and the fresh out of the closet guy with an identity crisis. This show tickles the funny bone, captivates the mind, and takes you on a journey you'll never forget. 3 shows only at the Performing Arts Center in San Luis Obispo, Friday, August 17th at 7 p.m., Saturday, August 18th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. For tickets, call 805-756-ARTS. That's 805-756-2787. Come on down to the beautiful Central Coast and see the show you'll talk about for weeks. Confessions of a Love Junkie. Some mature content suggested for ages 16 and over.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
Well, thank you very much, and a good morning to you. We're glad you can join us at this hour as we discuss things food, beverages, and travel each and every week right here on this station, 9:33 the time. And the topic for this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, the topics are all based on something we call a compass word. And this word, the word this morning, is peak, P-E-A-K. Our segment producers were Googling themselves into a frenzy using the word peak in association with beverages when they stumbled upon Coastal Peaks Roasters located right here on the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo. Now, this coffee company uses fair trade, which we will discuss and explain further, organic beans, and gives a portion of their online sales to various charities. All very cool things that we like. So they made a natural fit for the show this morning. Mike Knight is the founder of Central Coast Roasters, and when I was talking to him on the phone, he says, I've never been called a founder before. But that's what you are, Mike, and welcome to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. How are you?
Thank you very much for having me, Randall, and Miss Patty, and enjoying being here. And yes, I've never been called a founder before, but I'm the guy.
How'd you get into the coffee business? What made you make that switch?
I worked for another company for a period of time. I thought I could do it better myself, so I opened or started doing my own business, or started my business in 1989.
1989?
Yeah.
And that was in San Luis?
Grover Beach, actually.
In Grover Beach?
Yeah, I distributed for another local roaster, and then 6 years ago I purchased a competitor who was moving and started roasting myself.
So you're expanding.
Yeah.
And you just opened up a new cafe, which is on South Higuera.
Yes, it's right in front of the roaster, right just south of Prado Road.
So you can smell it then if you get there at the right time when you're doing the roasting of the beans.
You can. If you stand downwind of us when we're roasting, you can smell coffee.
That's such a fantastic smell, and
It
you
is.
smell it more and more nowadays in a lot of U.S. cities because the micro roasting boom has really taken off. And you
Certainly has.
And you're sort of riding that wave. I imagine you know a lot of people in the industry. If it's anything like coffee, if it's anything like beer and wine, everyone sort of shares ideas with each other. And so, why do you think micro roasting has become such a big deal?
Well, people are looking just like beer and wine. They're looking for the best that they can possibly get. So it's completely different what their grandmothers or grandfathers were drinking back in their day.
And they love to know that it's made, within arm's reach.
It is, and we're actually the only coffee roaster in the city of San Luis Obispo, but there are several other roasters within the county itself.
And so when you walk into your favorite coffee place and you order a blend, and they always ask you, well, which blend would you like? And I always think, oh, gosh, I don't know. You'll see sometimes there's a dark roast, sometimes there's a medium bodied, and you're starting to see more and more blondes or lighter roasts. Is it just the amount of time that it's kept cooking?
Yes, it is. General roast, and we roast about 45 pounds of green coffee at a time. It takes between 17 and 19 minutes per roast. The more time, the darker the roast that you will get on there. If it's a single bean, it's a single varietal. If it's a blend, it's two or more.
And it changes more than just the taste, right? There are
the characteristics of that particular varietal itself.
There's chemical things that are happening within the bean that changes the amount of caffeine you can absorb as well, right?
Yes, that does happen like that. There are two species of coffee trees. There's Robusta and there's Arabica, which we roast, and that's grown at higher elevations. Better tasting, has more body to it than what we'd call the commercial grade coffees.
And that's primarily grown in South America?
Well, no. Actually, it grows along the equator from Cancer to Capricorn. Central America, South America, Indonesia, and Africa
are the areas where they grow Arabica beans.
Yes.
And Robusta is what's the
also
difference?
Grown in the same area.
Okay, what's the difference character-wise between those beans?
Well, Robusta is mainly what you'd find in the commercial grade coffees. It does have more caffeine.
Oh.
The higher soil, climate, and elevation are the three determining factors and the characteristics of that particular varietal.
And then you can blend them any way you want, right? You don't have
Yes,
to have
you can.
100% of one or the other.
You do not. In fact, that's what we specialize in, is creating a blend for a particular restaurant or retail.
Now, those of you listening in the San Luis Obispo area will be familiar with some of the restaurants serving Coastal Peaks Roasters coffee. One of my favorites, as a matter of fact, which is Big Sky Cafe.
Yes.
Also Novo. Actually, two of my
Novo.
favorite restaurants.
There you go. Absolutely.
You've managed to get into some of the good ones here in town.
We do. We have Luna Red, Cafe Roma, Froggy's, Splash. We have a lot of the local restaurants.
Right.
We go as far south as Solvang.
You go as far, how about north?
North, up the coast to Cambria and inland to Paso.
No, nothing up in like Monterey,
No.
Santa Cruz.
It's all delivered weekly, so we'd like to keep the driving time hopefully to a minimum.
But you do ship because you've got
We do.
online business.
You can go online and purchase it.
And where you've teamed up with some charities, and is it 20% of online sales?
Yes, it is.
20% of online sales currently go where?
Right now, it's Fisher House is one of our main charities, and that is it's similar to McDonald's house, but for the military families who have an injured shoulder, a soldier, and the families can actually stay in this housing free of charge.
Are there any others?
Oh no, that's our main
that's
one.
That's the main one right now. Okay, so on your website, which you self-admittedly said the other day needs a little bit of updating.
It does.
But
we don't get on it too often.
I couldn't tell. So you do. So let's give people that are listening right now, no matter where they're buying their beans, there are some ways they can treat the beans that will give them the best flavor in their cup, correct?
There is. First of all, when you buy your beans, you never want to keep it for more than 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a stale date.
That's top.
Yes, it is. Now, storage. You want to keep it in an airtight container in your cupboard. You do not want to put it in your refrigerator or your freezer.
I wish we had a buzzer sound right now because there's so many people looking at their radio or watching online, however they're doing it, going, what? I've been putting it in the freezer and refrigerator for years. Why is that?
Well, if you store it in the freezer, the moisture in that bean will crystallize and it'll affect the taste of that particular coffee. And if you're storing it in the refrigerator next to an onion, it's going to absorb that onion.
Oh, I never thought of that. Patty just got a horrible look on her face because A, I know she uses a lot of onions, and B, she keeps it in her refrigerator. So Patty, stop it. Now, in terms of making it, I have an automatic brewer. I grind it the night before. I put it in there. It starts brewing while I'm sleeping, so I can get up to my coffee.
That's fine.
That's fine doing it that way?
Yes.
But some people insist on using a French press.
You can use a French press, and we have at the cafe, you can select a French press if you'd like. I don't particularly like it. I like my coffee just a little bit hotter, but French press is a great way to go. We also have...
that's where you literally push the water through the beans, right?
After it has absorbed the coffee, you can press it down and consume it right at that time.
I just went to a place called Coffeetopia, which is it's in Santa Cruz... darn, I can't think of the name of the street, but it starts with a P. Ricardo, do you know it? Portola. And they do where they pour it over the beans.
Yes, we do that.
And you do that too. I'm seeing that in more and more places.
You will. If you go up to San Francisco, that's just about all they do in a specialty coffee shop, and we have that as well here.
Blue Bottle Coffee up there, if you had theirs.
Just was there last weekend.
It is so delicious. We did a video piece on theirs that we haven't put together yet, but I got to do
I like to check out our competitors.
Of course, And when I was in the brewing industry, I checked out the competitors as often as I could.
Absolutely. Got a sample.
That's right. But it was fun. They're at their location near Jack London Square. I sat there every morning. They do where they take a spoon of it and go,
that's a cupping.
Cupping. That's what it was called, and it was fun. I learned a lot through that process. Okay, so now let's talk fair trade.
Okay,
I am the type. I spend a little bit more when I'm shopping because I feel better about it. Why do I feel better about it? What is the whole fair trade process?
Well, it's an organization that actually was developed to help the families that are growing that particular coffee. Most of the economies are grown in third world economies along the equator there. So any way that we can help them, they can. And they provide not just growing assistance, but educational benefits for their children as well.
Good. Education.
So you're going to pay a little bit more, which we pay a little bit more for that coffee as well.
Right. And so education, housing in some cases,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so that they're not getting a nickel a day or whatever it might be. Who checks on that? Who makes sure? When I buy fair trade, how do I know it was really
well? That organization, it is their responsibility to go down there and check just to make sure that money's going to the right places and what have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now there are a number of fruits and vegetables on a list called the Dirty Dozen when you're considering buying organic. Strawberries are among them. Apples are on the list. You really want to choose organic. There's also something called the Clean 15, which are 15 that, if it's between organic and not organic, you're not so bad going with the conventional growing. Where does coffee fall in terms of organic? Is it like a heavily pesticide? Does it need a lot of pesticides to grow? Where is it?
Well, if it's organic, they're not going to use any type of herbicides or pesticides. So the growing areas are free of any anything that they're going to introduce into that might taint that particular coffee. So if it's organic, it has to be labeled organic, and it has to be inspected to make sure that they'll test the soil and they'll test the fruit itself, and they'll make sure that there has been no pesticides used in the ground or on the trees themselves. And
you sell blends of both fair trade.
We do, and conventional.
And organic. Yes. So you can get anything you like. Mike Knight, he is the founder of Coastal Peaks Roasters, and your website, we of course provide a link at eatdrinkexplore.com, but it's Coastal Peaks Roasters, as you might imagine.com. It's that easy. Mike, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. When we come back, we are checking out the Perseid meteor shower, which you can't see it right now. It's going on overhead. But once the sun falls tonight, you will be able to see it. We'll tell you where to go to really catch it at its prime. And it's within driving distance of wherever you might be. You're listening to Drink Explore. Santa Clara County Certified Farmers Markets Best of Summer Harvest this weekend, next weekend, fresh from the farm. Now, come taste the difference of vine-ripened tomatoes. You know, maybe you're growing some at home right now. They're so delicious that way. Melons as well, fresh-picked corn, tree-ripened peaches. The stone fruits are in right now. Nectarines, pluots, apples, and more, direct from California family farmers. Support your neighbor. The farmers bring local produce and heirloom variety fruits and vegetables they grow themselves. Saturdays from 9 to 1, Saratoga and Morgan Hill. Sundays, 9 to 1 in Blossom Hill and Mountain View.
You'll never see another show like Confessions of a Love Junkie. Poignant, hilarious, moving, thrilling. It's a roller coaster ride for all the senses. Dances of every genre, side-splitting comedy, and moments of sheer beauty. 3 shows only at the Performing Arts Center in San Luis Obispo. Friday, August 17th at 7 p.m. Saturday, August 18th at 2 p.m. and 805-756-2787. Come on down to the beautiful Central Coast and see a show you'll talk about for weeks. Confessions of a Love Junkie. Summer tour content suggested.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen. High blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it, don't ignore it, just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Welcome back to the program. It is 9:49. Hope your morning is off to a fantastic start. I'm your host, Randall White, and it is time to get up, get going, think about your plans for the day. And you're looking outside and seeing a blue sky, probably. It depends. There's always patchy coastal fog in some places, even on the warmest of days. But what you can't see through that blue are meteor streaks. They're happening. You just can't see it because it's so bright out. But once the sun goes down, we're fortunate because the moon is waning and we're getting into a fingernail version of it. And you will be able to see, depending on where you are, the Perseid meteor shower. This is the one time per year that we pass through, I think it's the tail of a comet, as a matter of fact. And we see up to 100 meteor streaks per hour, depending on where you are. Now, you need to be in a really dark area, and we have just the place for you to go. And it's not that far. Rick Morales with the Fremont Peak Observatory Association joins us right now to talk about a very unique place to go any time of year. Rick, welcome to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio.
Good morning.
Fantastic to have you here. Now, the observatory is located at Fremont Peak State Park, and you were a ranger there as well for many years.
Yes, I was a ranger there for 15 years.
15 years, and it's one of these places I've driven past it in a way so many times as I've driven past through San Juan Bautista, Highway 101, headed north and south through that area, and never realized that this peak existed. What are we talking about elevation-wise?
A little over 3,000 feet.
About 3,000 feet, and because you're so far away from any major population centers, it's the perfect place to watch something like the Perseids.
Yes, it is. It used to be better, but growing cities around the peak put up a lot of light, and so we're subject to light pollution now.
Right. Rick, I think we're going to give you a ring right back and try to establish a new connection. We're getting some popping noises, and we want the interview to be as clear as possible. Do we have a producer out there by the phones right now? Okay, we'll go ahead and, Rick, we're going to disconnect you right now, and we will get Rick back on the line because we want to make this clear because he has some great information, including, listen to this, I love it, an upcoming Starbecue. and they barbecue at night at the observatory or in the evening hours, and then they sit and they watch the sky. And in the sky right now, I don't know how many of you have looked to the west after the sun goes down, but you will see what are a triangle configuration of stars. And unfortunately, we're still getting that popping noise, but I guess that's what we've got. And so, Rick, we got you back on the line, but it sounds like we have the same connection. So we'll just, bowl right through it. What are the three stars that we're seeing that are forming a triangle right now in the sky? Have you seen that?
No, I mean, there's lots of triangles in the sky.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. To the west, there's one right now. It's just really obvious. I thought maybe it was something everyone was talking about. But what everyone is talking about is the Perseid meteor shower currently. And this is an annual event, and this year's should be pretty good?
It should be pretty good, yeah. It's if you're in a nice dark sky location, it should be a pretty good show. The best time to see it, though, is not early in the evening, but early in the morning, after midnight.
And the observatory area is closed at that time?
It depends on who's operating the observatory. Often the operators will stay up, we'll have a show in the evening, and when the show is dispersed and the crowd dissipates, then the astronomer has the access to the telescope, almost to himself.
Right.
And there might be a few people. And but yeah, if the sky is clear and they generally stay up, at least till midnight. And for something like this, they may stay up later. Now, telescope is not the thing to use to see meteors.
Right. You want sort of an unobstructed view and as far away from lights as possible, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you have there at Fremont Peak. You do have, for non-Perseid viewing, when you actually want to look at a planet or whatever it might be, you do have public nights about once a month, correct?
sometimes 2 or 3 times a month during the late spring, summer, early fall. Winter gets cold, and people don't like to suffer through the cold.
All right. They're more fair weather astronomy fans. And so you have an upcoming Starbecue. Let's talk about that.
Okay, the Starbecue is next weekend. It is an annual gathering of people that are associated with the Fremont Peak Observatory Association and the observatory. It's a kind of a potluck barbecue, and we provide burgers and stuff like that, and then the people that come bring a dish to share, a lot of desserts and salads and stuff like that.
How did the observatory get started? It's an amateur telescope, right? But it's bigger than anything you would have at home.
Okay. Well, when I became the ranger there, prior to that, I had been down in San Luis Obispo County. Do you know where that is?
I do. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting there.
And I took the position up here because I had been to the peak before and liked it. It was unusual, very small, and it was a one-person unit. So I liked the opportunity to have that freedom. And the first weekend I was there, these people showed up in front of the ranger's house, and I was kind of shocked.
Right.
What are they doing here? There's a sign that says authorized vehicles only. They're not authorized. So, in my most officious way, I went out there and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "We're looking at stars." And I said, "Really?" and that was it. I began hanging out with them on those moonless nights, and got to know dozens of amateur astronomers, and
right.
And one such couple, Denny and Kevin Medlock, asked about building an observatory there, and we began to talk about it, and Kevin had been building a telescope, and he was looking for a home for it.
What year was this?
This was, back in the 80s, 84, 85.
So it's been there for 30 years, 20, nearly 30 years.
Almost 30 years. Yeah.
Almost 30 years. And do you find that people know where it is? They show up and they say, "We heard about it"?
Not at all.
Well, good. Then we're trying to get the word out right now. Rick Morales with the Fremont Peak Observatory Association. Go check out the Perseid meteor showers there tonight. It's a great place to go witness it. And their upcoming Starbecue. Their website is really easy. It's fpoa.net. All right, Rick, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate it.
You bet. You take care.
All right, you too. This
Bye-bye.
hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Eberly Winery, where you will always find complimentary wine tasting located on Highway 46 East in Paso Robles. Log on to eberlywinery.com. You can hear all of the segments from this week's show in case you missed one online, of course, eatdrinkexplore.com. And don't forget to download the smartphone and tablet apps. They are free. All right, make it a great day, everyone. All right, Crush 92.5 listeners here in San Luis Obispo. We just have a minute more here to talk about a big thank you to our show's producers, Cora Adama, Anthony Renaro on audio over there, Ricardo Teodosio running the video show. If you're watching via our apps, he does a great job clicking through the cameras and the various pictures that you can see. And then, of course, Patty Piper, and thank you so much for being my co-host and anchoring the news. Mr. Curtis Cole and Nicole Powers running around like you can't believe during the week, being reporters, and then also doing the phones today. We appreciate that as well. And as we always like to say, it's a team effort here at Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. And get out there, everyone. Enjoy yourself. Eat, drink, explore. Ciao for now. I'm your host, Randall White. Stick around. There's a lot more great music and radio here on Crush 92.5 in San Luis Obispo.